This lecture is for MSc second SEM, practical based on RDBMS and Oracle. I am Smita Suresh Daniel from St. Thomas College, Bhilai. Today we will be taking a lesson on PL/SQL practicals. Following are the topics which we will be covering. Before going into the details of PL/SQL, we will be learning about text editor, how to write the PL/SQL code. So in order to write the PL/SQL code, you can open Notepad, Notepad Plus or Edit Plus and write the code and save it with an extension .SQL, and then this file can be run in the SQL plus command prompt with @ file name and then enter. Up till now, we have learned to use various control structures of PL/SQL. Let us now learn how to use them for interacting with databases. We shall accomplish this task by using SQL queries within PL/SQL code. So, already we have learned about the various SQLs, but we will be learning to put it up in the PL/SQL code. For all the programs, we will be using EMPL table as shown. The first one is select into statement. Select into statement will help you to access the table fields of each record into a variable list. Let's see this with an example. In this program, we can see that the employee salary has to be increased by 5%, whose salary is more than 5,000. In this way, declare statement, we put up the variables, begin the program and end the program. This is the block inside which you will have to write the various statements. So this is the first statement where ampersand is used. This is used to accept the employee number from the user during runtime. So when the user puts the value into EMP number, we can use this EMP number and select sal into salary, means sal is from the table EMP, which will be transferred into the local variable salary, and this salary is checked for being greater than 3,000 or less than 3,000, and then we can update this statement using update command as shown. This will update the field SAL for the record ENO. The next program is for inserting a new record into EMP table. Here we have all the variables which we have created. Now these variables will get the values from ampersand, where the user will input values during runtime, and all the values collected will be inserted into the EMP table using insert into statement. Next is the delete statement. If we want to delete a record from a PL/SQL code, then we need to use the delete from command for a given EMP number. The next part of this lecture is using records. So far we have learned how to store the resultant data coming from selected variables. But now, what if a complete row is being extracted from a database table? We need to use the select asterisk statement into. But before that, let me explain to you that PL/SQL supports 3 different types of records. You all know what is a record. A record is a PL/SQL record is a group of multiple pieces of information related to one another. There are three types of records: table, user, and cursor. Each type has its own statements. The first one is row type. Row type is a statement in which we can access one complete row and all the fields in it will be stored in a record name. This is another variable. User-defined records, where the user creates a record according to his selection of variables, and these variables will be transferred into the type name. Cursor, as you all know, is a very important thing in PLSQL program. A PLSQL cursor is a mechanism that provides a way to select multiple rows of data from a database, and then we can process each row individually inside a PLSQL program. In the above programs, we have used only one single row at a time, but now we will be able to access more than one particular row when we are using a cursor. So let's see these with examples. Here, this is a table-based record example in which we have to do this program. We are using the row type command. The row type statement, the row type will access the complete row in a record and store it in ZEMP. Now we can see select asterisk into ZEMP means one whole record in a table will be accessed by ZEMP. A particular record having EMP number is equal to 149 is taken, and that can be shown as an output DBMS underscore output dot put line as shown here. ZEMP dot EMP number. This means the dot operator is able to access the EMP number from the table. Here also EMP, ename, job, sal, all are stored in the ZEMP, which is accessed by the dot operator in the PLSQL. The next, in this program, we see we don't want the whole record as a whole, but we want only some of the fields in a record. In that case, we will be using type, %type. %type will be using a particular field only from a record and store it in the variable. Here we see EMP number, ename and sal from the table EMPL is transferred into ENO, ename and salary, where select MIN sal from EMP will select the minimum salary and increase it by 700. Now in this program it is asked to store the data into a new sal table. So we can use the insert into new sal values, ENO, name and salary. So open the new sal table and find the values as stored in there. User-defined records. This is another important thing in which we are going to create a user-defined record. This is the way we create it. In the declare block, we can declare a new record known as book by using the type statement. Type books means you have created a user-defined record called books, and books have various attributes like fields like title, author, subject, etc. This has two objects which has been created, book 1 and book 2. These are the two objects of the record type book. Now, book 1 dot title. The dot operator will help you to access each field of the book 1 books. So book 1 dot title, book 1 dot author, all these are attributes of book 1 which can be used to access value from the user directly or indirectly. Same for book 2, another object of the record, book 2. Now we can print these using DBMS output dot put line. All the fields of the record is shown here. This can be printed and the output is shown as such. All the details of book 1 is printed. All the details of book 2 is printed. The next we will be learning about fetch using cursor. Here we are using a cursor for single record only. So the syntax for using a cursor is cursor emp cur name. Cursor name is select name from emp, where emp number is equal to 8369. This means all these records from the emp table will be stored in this cursor which we have created. In order to open a cursor, you have to use the open statement. Open cursor name in the block. Fetch emp cursor name into emp name means the emp cursor name which we have created will store it into emp name. Employee name is a value which we had created, is a variable which we have created here, and this will give the output as emp name. And we can close the cursor before ending this program. So cursor will help you to access the value stored, records stored in emp in this way. The next is also similar to the earlier one. Here is the program to fetch one record and single column from a table. See, we are using select e name from emp. The whole column comes into and stored in cursor. And same, we open the cursor. You can use a loop to fetch current emp name into emp name. This loop will fetch each record and print it, name of the employee. This loop will execute for n number of times, as many number of records stored in cur emp name. We see the list of the names which is outputted by DBMS output put line. We can also do some programming with subprograms. Subprograms are nothing but a small function inside a program. Like any other programming languages, we can make sub-functions in a PLSQL also. And this is the procedure. In the earlier program, we have added a new part known as procedure print book. Book books is. This statement is creating a function called print book, and that this is the parameter book books for the type book record, and this has a small block begin and end which has statements to DBMS output put line. we see in this program. In the earlier program, we used RDBMS output many